business legacy on purpose through mindset, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team so they can make an amazing impact and income and positively affect their communities worldwide. Ensure that you are sharing this show, you're subscribing, and you also are leaving us a review so we can create more amazing content around those areas to help you level up to the next level and also bring amazing guest experts that can share their knowledge and expertise with you so that you can create amazing legacy. All right, legacy builders, welcome back to another show. As we know, we take a very holistic approach to building our companies here at the Life School. So I'm so blessed to have another beautiful guest and conversation around health and wellness. For a lot of you that might find yourself in caregiver positions, right? So I am so blessed to have my next guest today, Ruth Lewis Coste. I hope that I said your last name correctly. And we're going to talk about how to stay healthy as a caregiver and, of course, beyond. So I'm sure that whoever's listening to this podcast episode will definitely resonate with some of the information that we'll share today. Ruth, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for sharing everything that you will share with us today. Ruth, let's start with the introduction. I usually start my guests off with an introduction. I don't like to introduce people because I feel like I don't want to take away or remove anything meaningful from their journey that they would like to share. So if you could share some of the most meaningful moments that led you to the work that you're so passionate about speaking today.
My background's actually as a journalist, and I loved my career. It was like a 40-year plus career, and I loved it. I did get burnt out at the end, though. But it was during my last sort of 10 years or so with the Financial Times in London that I came across somebody who told me about a business opportunity. It was in network marketing, didn't know anything about it, wasn't looking for anything. But I love adventure, something new to challenge me. And I don't know, I went with my gut feeling. So I obviously jumped in, and I've been with that brand. The brand is called Arbonne, some of you may know it, for almost 12 years now. The personal development I've had from that has been absolutely incredible. And it's because of that and because of the person I've come and things I've learnt that I would not have learnt in a corporate environment that has now led me on to my second business. A couple of years ago, I became primary caregiver to both my parents, beginning of 2021, actually. And what I noticed very soon into that journey was that nobody was caring about the caregiver, and that most caregivers who were probably going about their business, their daily job, around another family, whatever it was, they didn't talk about it. And I thought this was wrong. So I started a podcast, and it's called Yes, I Have a Voice. And I was interviewing people who were or had been caregivers themselves, to whether it's children, whether it's a parent, whether it was elderly parents, whatever, and getting their take on it, how they dealt with it emotionally, and then obviously lots of tips and ideas that caregivers could use to help their journey go smoothly. Because what I found for me was that all the personal development and growth that I'd made as a result of my Arbonne business helped me through that time. Wasn't perfect by any means. It helped me when I was kind of going through challenging times. It actually helped me deal with it and bounce back a lot sooner. Obviously, I wasn't living with my parents, but I was always there, and I was the person who was dealing with everything. So that's essentially where I am today. So I'm about to start up a fellowship for family caregivers. And when I say family caregivers, I mean unpaid caregivers. And that's going to be a Zoom meeting once a week where caregivers can come and feel that they're in a safe space to talk, have an empathetic ear. And I also want to be sort of imparting through interviews lots of tips and tricks and ideas, places they can go, so that they understand the importance of their own well-being, even if they only have 5-10 minutes a day to be able to do something to look after themselves.
Wow, I love that, and we'll dive into that for sure. But I love your beautiful journey of like a sort of a step up, and I absolutely also align with the Arbonne values, mission, culture, and even the products that they have. I personally use them every day, so it's an amazing company. But I love how you also have taken all the support that you have received there, and now you find another need or another gap in your personal life, and now you are serving people not only with that, but also with the caretaker aspect of things. So I just love that continuation, and I've seen it in my life as well. And we just say yes to opportunities and align ourselves with people, the right people around us. We all grow and rise together, and you just never know because we're all always evolving, right? That could just be the next step in your journey, and it could take you to that next awareness or vision that you might have for your life. So I love that you have continuously grown, and you have moved away just like me from your corporate career, even though you might have been fulfilled for many years. And I'm always very grateful for all the things that I've learned, because I feel like everything builds us as humans, as a character, and we're able to align and take a lot of that into our businesses with us, even though we might feel that whatever we've learned is not really serving us. But I think everything is there for a very unique purpose, and that really defines our personal authentic journey in our life. So I love that.
I
So
totally agree with that. Yes.
absolutely, we have so much alignment. I love it. So Ruth, let's dive into the caretaking aspect and the well-being piece. So what are some of the main problems that you've seen from your personal experience with your parents, and that you feel that you want to share with other caregivers that might be in a similar situation, based on this vision that you have to serve them at this level that you mentioned?
So firstly, you're thrown in quite often. You're thrown in completely unprepared. So you don't know where to start. You don't know who to go to, and it's a bit of a minefield. It's not like there's a one place you can go to and say, okay, this is my situation. What do I do now? You have to find your way through, and it's honestly, it's like what you want is so buried. You have to go through it. At the same time, dealing with the emotional side of what's happening.
Mhm.
Um, and I felt so overwhelmed. I really did. It was like, I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know what to do. And it's just so much for people to cope with. And as they're going through that in that way, so from the emotional side and then the practical side, nobody is actually helping us.
Mhm.
And this is why I feel that I want unpaid caregivers to know that it's so important to look after themselves and learn these things. And that sort of same thing, it just continued. I mean, my journey was 2 years until both my parents died, and it sort of, there were days when it was really bad, other days when it was okay. I mean, I ate a lot during that time. I went through my emotional eating, chocolate in particular,
Mhm.
and the emotion, the anger, the frustration all came out on different days at different levels. And that's where there's no help. I mean, obviously, if you've got a family, fine, I've got a family, and they were very, very helpful, but they couldn't truly understand what I was going through because they hadn't been it, they hadn't lived it themselves. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
Um, So, but what I've seen from other people as well, who are perhaps in a what I consider to be like a worse situation, they're actually at home with the person they're looking after, and they are so surrounded by it. And if you ask them, and what are you doing, for yourself, just to have a break, I've noticed that they get angry even that you've asked that question,
Mm.
because they are wrapped up in so much guilt. And I think a lot of people are. I wasn't, because of my personal growth, I wasn't feeling that. But many, many people have that guilt.
Yeah.
Guilt that they're not doing enough, guilt that they're not looking after the person, correctly, so much, and guilt if they take 5 minutes out that somebody else might have to sit in for them. There's so, it comes from everywhere, and that's such a negative emotion, and that then brings the person down. And of course, it is known that high levels of stress, even for a relatively short time, can truly impact one's health. So often what happens with unpaid caregivers, they might be sort of keeping themselves going, somehow they don't have the cold, they don't sort of get really sick or anything like that. And then when that period has come to an end, it's, possibly a few months later, a year later, that's when they crash and burn on some level, whether it's just sort of something fairly minor, but often it can be something more serious.
Ruth, I love your mission. I have not heard anyone serve this audience. So wow, I mean, just kudos to you for I could just, as you're speaking, I could just remember some of my other family members and people around me that really do feel that the guilt over the taking care of someone else, even though they care about them and they love them. It's always like in the back of our mind, it's always like, well, I'm missing out on other things that I could be doing, right? So, there's always that inner conflict, I think. So you're so beautifully articulated a lot of those, let's say, feelings that someone might be going through if they're in such a situation. So beautiful, beautiful work there for sure. And on the other side, I know even with the initiative of your Zoom conversations that you're going to start to have, what are some of the things that someone that's in that situation as a caregiver can start to claim their self-care, get their health back, not feel like they're, you know, missing out by taking care of someone that they love from all these other things that they want to do in their lives. I think that's kind of where that conflict kind of deep down kind of shows up in the behavior and the resentment that you see on the outside. So what is those things that you have taken on this mission to teach someone that's in that position that could help them move along the journey further towards their health and self-care?
Well, I think firstly, coming to a community of people who have been there, done that, in different areas, because it will be for everybody, every type of caregiver. There will always be somebody there who's had the similar sort of journey. I'm hoping I'm going to continue on because,
I'm still here. I just gave you front stage so I can listen to you.
I lost you. Sorry. Yes. So first of all, yes, they get the idea that they can come and be heard. And I think just speaking it out with people who are not sort of saying, oh, God, you're boring me again, oh, not that again or something. Or to people who will say, oh, they're there. That's not really what people want, and it's not helpful. So firstly, it will be, they will have that. And then my idea is to have people on to talk about things that either they have done themselves, whether it's a book, whether it's some kind of sound, using sort of some therapy through sound, or just ideas on nutrition. It's an education as well. So I want it to be very much an education. I plan to just do an hour, so it doesn't go on for too long. So you get the talking element and then you get the education element. And I'd like people to take away small things, even if it's just something like meditation, which they might not have encountered before or thought about doing. If they can meditate for 5 minutes when they wake up in the morning or when they go to sleep at night, even that can help. So it's about little baby steps that they can take that can be possibly built up. It's not about expecting them to, do something for an hour or take an afternoon off. It's really building in these little mindset things that they can do on a good day, perhaps more of and less of on another day. But if they know it's there and know it's going to support them, even on a small level, I think that's, already I feel happy that they've got something from it, which they might not already know about.
Yeah. Well, that's where it all begins, right? And with those baby steps and habits. But I think what you spoke about at the beginning is powerful community. Align themselves with people that are in a similar situation. I mean, that's the best way to kind of not feel alone or isolated. I think I would say that for everything, entrepreneurship, mothers that are working or moms that are entrepreneurs, right? All these beautiful communities, because community is where everything is, because that's just the first piece of you're there, people understand you, there's empathy, you feel like, okay, someone gets me. I think that's where everything begins. So I love that you have put together all of this amazing, amazing stuff for people that need support in that area. Yeah, I think this is such an underserved market, so to speak. So kudos for you, Ruth, for taking on the initiative and starting a movement. Sounds like with everything,
Yeah.
all the tools and resources that you'll be building, I'm sure as time goes along and as you serve more people that might need this support. So, well, thank you so much for everything you do. And I would love to actually get a final message from you as we reach the end of our show. I'll probably have you back and we could talk about some of these specific topics, isolated, obviously, but absolutely for a first interview, I think it was amazing to kind of just hopefully that we shared some really good information for someone that might find themselves in that arena, and they could be entrepreneurs, right? Because
Absolutely.
we don't know what the path is for someone, right? And
That's right.
yeah, so you just never know who might resonate with the message. Thanks again, Ruth, and your final message, and also where is it that people can continue this conversation with you or find out more information around all this amazing work that you're doing?
Okay. So Carer's Corner actually isn't live yet. It's close, but not quite there. I will have a website as well, so that will make life easy. But in the meantime, I can be found on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And it is my name, Ruth Lewis Cost. It's the same throughout. And I'd love to hear from people. I have to say that this thing was not a big plan. It was just an evolution. And as I was talking to people with my for my podcast, I came to realize that there was nothing out there, or almost nothing out there, and it was an instinctive thing, and that's why I just know it will be something that will be so helpful to people. And I want it to be global. It's not just in the UK where I am, definitely global because my podcast is, and I already have plans to maybe franchise it out so people can take it into their area, maybe in person as well. So it can just go, no, it can go everywhere really.
I love your vision is so big, and that is amazing, right? Your vision is so big because your mission is big. And I always say there's a reason why I came to you. Sometimes, I mean, even the things that I work on, I'm like, why this looks so impossible to do? I don't know if there's anything out there, right? But it's the calling, it's part of
Mm,
your purpose. There's a reason why you came to that realization and not me or someone else, right? So
yeah,
now it's your responsibility to birth the baby and bring it out there in the world and help and serve so many more people. That's how it all begins. So thank you so much. Amazing luck with everything you're doing, and I'm looking forward to having you back on our show when you have
Eloni.
more involvement absolutely around this mission as well. Thank you so much again, Ruth, and I thank you for listening. And you know where to find our show on all our social media channels and also major podcast platforms. And support our show, subscribe so we can bring more amazing visionary leaders and purpose driven entrepreneurs just like Ruth, so that we can support one another, but also share a lot of amazing wisdom, information, education, and of course, entertainment with our show. Thanks again and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Hello, Visionary CEO. Are you looking for a global community where you can grow your influence, build trust, and leverage high quality relationships? I'm introducing the Life School Global Community Expert Program that we have here at the Life School, where, as a visionary CEO, you'll get to be part of an amazing community with over 30,000 seasoned entrepreneurs and business leaders and growing daily so that you could do just that. You can grow meaningful relationships, and you can make a bigger impact and income through your business and positively affect your global communities and do more good in the world. In our global community program, we will warmly introduce you to members in our community for trust building and referrals. We will connect you with speaking events, with podcast features, with other amazing events that will cater to you and your audience. Another benefit of being part of the community is to be able to be a contributor, a monthly contributor to our global magazine, Purpose Driven CEO. Another amazing benefit is to participate in our weekly and monthly virtual and live events where your work will be showcased to a big audience, as I mentioned, to over 30,000 business leaders all over the world. The other benefit that you will have is be part of our Facebook group community of members, and all our Facebook pages and personal profiles totaling in over 10,000 followers. And these are not just low quality followers, but are high quality followers. That is something that I, as the founder, am very proud to be able to leverage in our audience. The other thing you will be part of is the exposure on our LinkedIn community as well, to over 10,000 followers. And then our TikTok and Instagram that has over 100,000 followers, and also our email list of over 30,000 followers. The benefits of the community are always growing. So these are just some of the main features that we have built already and have in place. So I would love to invite you to join. There is a monthly membership for you to choose from, which is just $49 a month, or a yearly membership paid in full, and you could save 2 months at $490 yearly. The monthly membership you can always cancel just by simply sending us an email if you obviously feel that the community is not a good fit for you. I'm looking forward to having you join. Go to elonaloparicoaching.com/events and you'll find more information how to sign up. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you inside our community.